How's it going, crew? This is Happy Days and welcome back to our Terraria Gridlocked challenge. In the Gridlocked challenge, our world is covered by a framework of grids, and every 50 gold coins I earn, I can choose one of them to unlock. Every 5 grids, the price goes up, so we'll need to plan our unlocks carefully. With all that said, let's get today's episode started. We began our Gridlock journey in our last video, getting straight to work setting up a tree farm, complete with a basic mob farm in our first grid on the surface. After finding some gems underground, I set up a gem tree farm in our second grid for a steady supply of cash, and I've started mining for more ore in our third grid. If you missed the first episode, I'll put a link on screen now so you can watch our journey from the beginning. We start things off today with some forest destruction while we plan our next move. At the end of our last episode, we earned enough gold to unlock our next grid, and I asked you all what we should do next. I got a lot of great suggestions, but the overwhelming amount of you wanted me to keep exploring downwards, and I agree, as reaching the cavern layer will unlock several upgrades and farming possibilities. I unlock our fourth grid and happily loot the golden chest to get some shoe spikes for our next accessory and some platinum bars. I also trash 1 platinum and 50 gold coins as we've unlocked 3 grids so far, and I need to pay for them. I was leaving the cash in my hotbar as a way to keep score, but thanks for all the feedback on this, so I'll add a tally with all the info in the corner of the screen so you can see the total I've spent on unlocked grids during this challenge. After a bit more exploring, we find another underground cabin cut in half by the grid wall. Thankfully, the chest is on our side and I get a magic mirror, which surely will come in useful. As we reach the bottom of the grid, I find a single diamond near a patch of iron ore. Diamonds are one of the best selling gems in the game, so I'll definitely be using this to grow diamond gem trees. Before I explore any further, I return to base as now I have enough platinum bars to craft the platinum pickaxe. While I'm here, I also upgrade our iron axe to a tungsten axe and craft a diamond gem corn using the diamond we found. You know I'm back to chopping down these profitable ruby gem trees, and I'll also plant our diamond gem corn so I can slowly start replacing the ruby trees with diamond ones. Next, we're back to exploring and we find some gold and silver coin pouches for a nice boost to our cash. After mining up some iron ore, I also find 2 more life crystals having a bath, so I quickly use them to boost our HP up to 180. I'm starting to see some new enemy types spawning in this grid, which means we've made it to the cavern layer. This is huge for us as it means undead miners have a chance to spawn. Undead miners are an uncommon enemy that can drop the mining armor set and bone pickaxe, which would give us a huge boost to our mining speed. As I'm in the process of mining out the grid to make a mob farm, we encounter a few undead miners, and I can't believe our luck as we get the miner pants and shirt quite quickly. A full set of mining armor gives a whopping 30% bonus to mining speed, which is going to be a huge help this early in our challenge. With our new mining armor, I finish making our basic mob farm. There's rows of stone for mobs to spawn on, and I can just run around with Abigail to take them out. I'll make a better farm later on, but this will work for now to make farming cavern mob drops a lot easier. While I'm chopping down all those gem trees, I decide on our next move. Demonite ore would unlock several upgrades for me, and the easiest source of that would be fighting the Eye of Cthulhu. For the Eye of Cthulhu to spawn naturally, we need to achieve several things first. We'll need to get 200 or higher HP and at least 10 defense, which should be fairly easy to achieve as I only need 1 more life crystal. We'll also need 4 NPCs present in our world, so I think it's time to allow NPCs to move back in by adding in some extra houses. I'm not building anything fancy for this challenge, so I'll just expand our existing houses in our starter grid for now so I can keep all our NPCs in one place. I've also accumulated a ton of dirt and stone, so I've placed some barrels to collect it during our challenge. I wonder how much I'll end up with by the end. It's time to unlock some more grids, so I grab all the rubies I've collected and sell them, plus some excess ruby gem corns to the merchant, and we've now got over 1 platinum. Our first diamond gem tree has also grown, so I'll replant the diamond gem corns we get to start slowly expanding them into our gem tree farm. Since we still need to get our hands on some more life crystals, I'll continue to head downwards for now by unlocking another grid below, and we'll trash another 50 gold coins to pay for it. As this is our 5th grid unlocked, including our starting grid, the price has now increased to 1 platinum per grid. I use our only Spelunker potion to help explore this grid, and we find another gold chest and get a cloud in a bottle accessory. There's also a water chest nearby, which, because it's generated in the cavern layer, has spawned with a suspicious looking eye inside. You might think I'd want to use this straight away, but I'm going to save it as the Eye of Cthulhu will only spawn naturally until it's defeated for the first time, so this summoning item will allow me to fight it a second time for even more loot. Our luck continues as we find another underground cabin, and this time we get a pair of Hermes boots, which will be a huge help in our upcoming boss fight. I can see a life crystal in the grid below, as well as another golden chest thanks to our Spelunker potion. This means we're guaranteed to reach 200 HP if I unlock the grid below us next, but I'll finish exploring our current grid first. Soon after, we discover a gemstone cave, and our luck continues as it contains diamonds in it. This will allow me to quickly expand the diamond gem trees in our gem tree farm. I've been putting it off for a while now, but if I'm going to fight the Eye of Cthulhu, I'll need to unlock more surface grids, and with grids now costing 1 platinum each, I'll need to start expanding our gem tree farm. It's a lot quicker now with our full set of mining armor and platinum pick, and slowly but surely I'm replacing the ruby gem trees with diamond ones to increase our profits. I'll be chopping a lot of trees during this farm expansion, so I'll also upgrade our tungsten axe to a platinum axe for a small boost to our chopping speed. A few hours later, I've mostly got the farm set up. I'm actually running short on normal acorns, which are needed to craft gem corn, so I'll need to spend some time harvesting our surface trees, but I can do that later as we've got some rubies to sell. After harvesting our little blinkroot farm, I sell our rubies to the merchant for almost 60 gold coins, which puts us over the 1 platinum we need for our next grid. You know I'm unlocking that grid below with the life crystal, but I won't use it straight away, as even though I don't have 10 defense yet, I don't want to accidentally spawn the Eye of Cthulhu early, and keeping my health below 200 HP ensures that. As I mine towards a gold chest revealed by my Spelunker potion, I realize our grid is connected to a spider cave, which is amazing. This means at the start of hard mode, I'll be able to farm for spider fangs and craft some powerful equipment early on. Inside the gold chest are some archery potions, which may be useful against the Eye of Cthulhu, so I quickly grab all the loot. After finding a second life crystal, we reach the bottom of the grid to discover some lava in the grid below, as well as another gold chest. If I unlock that grid, I'll then have access to obsidian once I get a nightmare pickaxe and lava, which is fantastic for enhancing our mob farm. As we continue exploring, I also discover this grid is connected to a mushroom biome. We find yet another life crystal, and now we even have the option of collecting truffle worms once we get to hard mode if we want to fight Duke Fishron. I spend some time exploring the rest of the grid for ores, and it contains plenty of platinum and tungsten, so I should be able to upgrade my armor for our upcoming boss fight. My next goal is to start unlocking some surface grids, as we'll need more room for our boss arena. It's going to take a while, but I decided to spend some time completely swapping our gem tree farm from rubies to diamonds. I also need to occasionally run through our surface tree farm to restock our acorn supply as well. A few hours later, we've collected quite a haul of rubies and diamonds, so I sell them to the merchant, which gets us over the 1 platinum we need to unlock our next grid. I decide to unlock the grid to the left of our spawn, and we open the chest that has been just out of reach since the beginning of our adventure, and I grab a wand of sparking and a swiftness potion. I'm excited to see that this grid is connected to the desert biome. This is huge for us, as we now have access to cactus and sand, as well as the sandstorm event. Cactus can be used to craft lots of things, but it's also used to make swiftness potions when combined with blinkroot. I spend the day removing the small hill near the grid line, as I have plans to extend our Eye of Cthulhu arena into this grid whilst making a farm at the same time. The next morning, I continue work on our new grid by continuing to flatten the surface by mining up the extra sand. We get lucky when a purple slime spawns with a mining potion inside, and this will be super useful to speed up our next big mining project. I also want to start farming lots of cacti, and while I'll make a better farm for them later on, I'll get started by placing a row of sand on top of some bricks to give them a chance to spawn naturally. Next, I build a temporary wooden staircase between the 2 layers of our grid. This will allow me to quickly move between layers during the Eye of Cthulhu fight if I need it. That night, I realize I still haven't had a single daybloom spawn, so I make some temporary extra rows of dirt for grass to spread on to increase my chances of a daybloom spawning naturally. While I wait for the grass to grow, it's time to do some fishing. I craft an iron fishing pole, and with the worms I've been collecting during this challenge, I'm ready to go. We return to the fishing spot I made earlier and start fishing. I need to catch a few armored cavefish, which when combined with blinkroot can make endurance potions. The rules for this challenge state I can only fish for any buffs and equipment I need, and I can't farm for fishing items to sell, so once I catch 3 armored cavefish, I move on to our next task. A while later, a daybloom spawns outside the farm I made for them, because of course it did, but I happily harvest it anyway and add it to our blinkroot farm below our base. Later on, it's time to craft some equipment and buffs for our first boss fight. I make a platinum bow and then make some platinum and tungsten armor pieces, as I don't have enough ore for a full set. Next, I use our newly farmed daybloom to craft some iron skin and regeneration potions. We also grab some extra buff potions we scored as loot from our potion chest. I also buy some grenades from the demolitionist. Grenades deal over 60 damage each and are our highest damage option at the moment. After using all our life crystals, I'll also make a bed so I can advance time. Now we've met the criteria for Eye of Cthulhu to spawn, there's a 33% chance for it to spawn each night. It might take a few nights for the eye to spawn, so by sleeping in a bed, I can quickly get to nighttime and see if it's boss time. That night, we feel an evil presence watching us, so I throw on my buffs and prepare for battle. In the first phase, I use our Hermes boot speed to keep ahead of the eye, and our new bow and flaming arrows deal some nice damage to the eye. Once it transforms, I deal with all the servants quickly with our zombie arm and get straight back to filling the floating menace with arrows. I purchased all those grenades especially for its rapid rapid dashing phase, as coupled with the speed of our Hermes boots, I can lob grenades into the air and the eye will mostly fly straight into them. Soon enough, our grenades are too much for the boss and it falls as I happily claim our prizes. The Shield of Cthulhu accessory gives me the dash ability, which is useful even against bosses like Duke Fishron, and all that Demonite ore gives us lots of upgrade options. While my buffs are still active, I decide to fight another eye immediately, and I use the same strategy as it seemed to work quite well. A short time later, we defeat our second boss, and after opening our treasure bag, we head to bed, as I think we've earned a rest before deciding our next move. The next morning, I convert all my Demonite ore into bars, but before we craft anything, I'd like your opinions on what to do next. Should we continue unlocking the grids below us and try and make it to the underworld for even more loot and new enemies to farm? Do we continue exploring the surface and see which other biomes we can discover? Or should we even start to unlock the grids horizontally underground to see if we can find the underground tundra, desert, or jungle? What would you focus on next in this challenge? Leave a comment with your ideas and what you think I should focus on next. And with that, we take a look back on what we've achieved so far. We've expanded our base and defeated our first boss. Our gem tree farm has expanded to a second grid and is now full of diamond gem trees. And we now have a basic mob farm and new grids just waiting to be unlocked. If you've enjoyed this video, please leave a like and subscribe, and we'll be back with more of our Gridlock challenge soon. And here's the most important part as always, you all stay happy and I'll see you soon. This is Happy Days signing out. See ya!